Aloha, I'm Jeff Peterson from Ukulele Corner. I'm going to give you a technical tip today that can really transform your playing. When we play fingerstyle ukulele, we often want to try to have a melody sing out above accompaniment. And we're doing it all in the same set of 4 strings. So we have to find ways to play certain notes more prominently than others. And I use a simple technique that I want to introduce you with the right hand. I use it all the time. And I put more weight into the notes I want to be melody notes and be featured, and I put less weight into the notes I want to have as accompaniment. Good place to start with this is just to do all accompaniment and just try to play as lightly as possible with your right hand. I'm going to grab a C chord here. Let's see, I'll just keep a simple arpeggiation. Let's just say I'm going to grab a C chord and go 4, 3, 2, 1. I have rensurant tuning here, high G, but if you use low G, it'll be fine to do this as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my fingers in the right hand on the strings and barely press down. What I want you to do first is just place your fingers there, thumb, index, middle, ring. I'll use those 4 fingers across the strings. And just play around with the concept of pressing into the string versus barely balancing your hand so there's no indentation. Think of it like a trampoline. When you want to bounce higher up in the air, get a note to sound louder, you're going to press down more into the trampoline. That's going to launch you up higher. If you want to just have a note be in the background, you're going to barely press down. So if I do that, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to use very little amount of strength in the left hand too. So if you really look carefully at the strings, I'm not pressing down into them at all. Now I'm going to put a little bit more weight. Fuller sound is starting to come out. Now I'm pressing down. I'm really going to dig in. I'm going to go back to nothing. Really dig in. Pressing in, feeling the string tension. Those notes just launch out into the stratosphere. Now, no pressure. Now what you can try to do is get comfortable by only featuring certain notes. Ring finger would be great. That becomes a melody note. I'll move it around. But the other notes are not pressing down. Hear how that high string really becomes a melody. I'll go to F chord, then G7. Now let's say I want the second and the high string. I'm going to press more into those notes. G7, 2, 1, 2, 1, C, 2, 1, 2, 1. So this sound versus barely pressing in, digging in versus very little pressure. So that's a general, just a very simple exercise for something that I use all the time to bring out melodies. Whatever song it might be that you can play, you can really hear the melody singing out. So I'm pressing more on the high string and less with the others. And so spending a lot of time working on just simple, you can do open string exercises. And let's say if I go back to that thumb, index, middle, ring, try to accent any of the 4 fingers. I'll start with my thumb. I'm going to bring out the lowest note, lowest string, 4th string. Now how about index finger? All the other fingers soft. Middle finger, 2nd string. Ring finger on the high string. So interesting what different contrasts of these same 4 notes you can get. Now I'll do 4th string. It brings out a totally different character depending on what is accented. Thumb, index, middle, ring, fourth string, third, second, high string, a little bit of example within a song there. So I was trying to bring out the melody and play these other notes softly. Sometimes I use the rest stroke and stop the melody note on the next string down, and then do all free strokes with the other notes. So that really presses into the string, that motion down when you do a rest stroke. Rest stroke is where you play a string and you stop on the next string down. A free stroke is where you clear the next string. You can do that with your thumb. Even sometimes I do combinations of rest strokes with the thumb, but I still put more pressure on the note I want to be a melody note. This is all with the thumb. So a very fundamental technique that can really transform your playing, and it really then sounds like you are doing two parts instead of just mixing everything together without any division between the accompaniment and the melody. So have fun with that technique and take your time with it. It's a tricky one to get the hang of, but when you do, it can really transform your playing. And I will see you again very soon.